Why Dumb Ways to Die is a masterpiece. And this is a video game, right? Like, this is a little game. Is this like it is? Okay, I played this when I was younger. I remember. And then I also watched that one show. I think it was also called like Dumb Ways to Die or something. It was on MTV, and it was other like Dumb Ways to Die, and I really shouldn't have been watching it because I also developed a fear of just randomly dying from like random so yeah, okay, we're gonna watch it. It's a safety video. Oh, it started off as a safety video. I remember it being a game, like an iPhone game, um because it got really popular, and now I think it's in Fortnite, or it's gonna be in Fortnite. I don't know, whatever. Let's watch.
When I think back to my childhood on YouTube, there are a lot of things that come to mind.
How's it going, man?
Hey, get off the screen.
Vanos here, and in today's video, me and my friends are playing in a modded private
Hey.
match lobby.
Oh man.
My
Here we go,
God.
people. Minecraft, let's play.
Thousand Ways to Die. Oh,
Although I remember
I think that's
some
what it was,
iconic
yeah.
moments, it isn't so much
Thousand
the
Ways to Die.
specifics
The
I
dog
remember.
walked up to the
It's the
lemonade
feeling.
stand.
That frenzy of creators.
There's a live stream going on right now, and you're watching it.
Trends and inside jokes told at
I guess
recess
married
with
now.
friends. And just like all things, those moments faded into a tiny corner in my brain.
Wait a second. Is this guy's like PNG the sign? Is his little PNG the sign? I think it's a sign. His model is a sign.
A place to lie dormant while I figured out what growing up meant. Nostalgia would sometimes dig up their old corpses, but
I
upon
hated this
revisiting
episode.
these icons of my childhood, they always just felt hollow. Most of the time, I just find them annoying now.
Really?
So when I started writing this essay to revisit Dumb Ways to Die, the 321 million view video juggernaut that implanted itself in my brain all those years ago, I was expecting the exact same effect. It was great then, but it honestly sucks now. I was sure I'd find it outdated, overhyped, and probably boring, and really got popular simply because it was so annoying. I was completely wrong. Let me break it down for you.
What an interesting take on nostalgia too, because I feel like many people, when they remember things from their childhood, they remember it incredibly fondly, so much to the point where like it makes them like sad, right? And it makes them believe that they'll never find anything quite as good as something that they once, experienced as a child. So the fact that Mr. What's your name? Fort Collins Productions is looking back on his childhood and he finds everything hollow, that's a little sad to me, because when I remember stuff from my childhood, I remember it with such fondness, and not in the way that like, oh man, I wish I could go back. There are certain parts of my life that I wish I could go back to, right? Because I do miss it greatly, but for the most part, I look back on those memories very fondly, because even though they're gone and they're done now, I still got to experience them. So that makes me a little sad, Mr. Fort Collins Productions, but let's continue.
Here we go.
Hold on, stop the video. We need a different pace.
What am I? Somewhere now, yeah. Things for a lot of people
12
seem
years
simpler
ago,
back
Dumb
then.
Ways to Die was published on YouTube to immediate success. It did what the cool kids back then called going viral, hitting the top 10 chart on iTunes within just a couple days and amassing millions of views seemingly out of thin air. I remember as a kid singing this song during recess with my friends and laughing hysterically at the stupid situations these animated characters found themselves in. I didn't have the vocabulary, nor really any sort of intellect back then,
Okay.
to understand why this video was so charming. but I felt it
It's
nonetheless.
just like me
I
crying.
had the song as a ringtone for a short period of time, watched the
Really?
video sleepovers with friends over and over until I quoted every line from memory, and then I forgot about it. That's just how it was back then. It wasn't anything personal. I worshiped this trend like a religion and then abandoned it just as fast. Time to fast forward. It's May 2013.
Oh,
I start my morning with a light workout by walking downstairs
okay.
and eating my
What the
morning
fuck?
nutrients, a carefully portioned out serving of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I log into my iPhone 4 to check the morning stocks.
Nobody was using that app.
And basically something very
Looks like business is booming in the Call of Duty and regular show sectors. Perfect. After counting my earnings and time about to be wasted, I open up the App Store. No, seriously. Okay, I legit have no idea why I used to do this as a kid, but it isn't satire. I would just mindlessly scroll through the App Store for seemingly no reason. But on this day,
Plants vs. Zombies.
it mattered. Because a brand new game just hit the App Store. Dumb Ways to Die.
Dumb Ways
the
to Die.
game.
That game.
Hell yeah, dude. This game was so simple, but God, I loved it so much. All I did was mindlessly tap on my phone screen while watching little characters barely avoid death. All of a sudden, I was thrust back right into the Dumb Ways to Die trend.
Let's go.
Green is so
Humming the
funny.
theme song
He's so
constantly
funny.
and comparing high scores with friends. The 8-bit music in the background was so charming, the animations were so silly, and I desperately wanted to add all of the characters onto my starting train platform. Of all the App Store games I played during this time of my life, this had to be one of the most played by far. But let's look at the big picture of all this again. No more recapping. No more childhood rose-tinted glasses. Is this stuff actually great over 12 years later? If
Yeah.
we are going to understand why exactly this silly little commercial is a masterpiece, we need to analyze 3 important factors contributing to its rise in cultural significance: tone, art style, and of course, music. Let's start first with tone, and to be more specific, let's discuss how this commercial did the exact opposite of what it should have done. Here's a question for you. When was the last time you saw an advertisement not only bring up death, but actively make it the
I forgot that
punchline
Mr. Peanut fucking dies. I forgot they kill him off.
of the entire message? Satire isn't
Peanut
anything new to
fucking died.
advertisement, but I personally can't name another commercial branding that has such a crude exception to showing main characters just dying repeatedly. Getting even more specific than that, I can't think of many public service announcements actively laying into the joke that people will die for stupid reasons. Most PSAs have a dark, gritty tone to them that actively tries to scare people from being stupid. It can be effective, there's nothing wrong with a bit of hyperbole and camera filters, but with this choice of tone, you risk something no insert favorite foundation here ever wants to deal with: unwanted satire. This is the internet. You are going to get made fun of, regardless of how great your organization is.
It's true.
We live our lives in a
The
digital
fuck?
landscape that feeds off of this stuff, and honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way. So, how do you counter unwanted satire? You you just lean into it.
Okay.
Metro Trains
Oh my God.
Melbourne made their entire PSA campaign to just satirically jab at the one thing advertisers are way too scared to talk about, let alone joke about. People can die in really funny ways. And this decision worked brilliantly. To adults, I'm sure they were shocked a bit to see a company that has active contracts with the government make a PSA statement involving private parts getting eaten by piranhas. Yet, the advertisement did a really good job showing safety by simply
That is true. I feel like back then there used to be a lot more like banned commercials, right? And they weren't even showing necessarily just people dying, but just like more like, what's the word? Serious topics, I'll say. Nowadays everything is just like really, really PC, I guess, and really clean. All the advertisements are just like, do 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 do. Come to Kohl's where you can buy a pair of pants during fucking Christmas.
Showing what not to do. And
Tastes like a potato.
well, to kids, this was literally the funniest thing ever. These
Average
tropes hold up
Valorant
so
player.
well even today, where the internet is
True.
more censored than ever before. This
Yeah, yeah.
advertisement continues to feel like a breath of fresh
I'll let
air
him talk.
compared to the slop that is constantly being shoved in our
Oh my
faces
gosh,
these
that-
days. But
That
of
commercial's so
course,
stupid.
it wasn't just the tone of this advertisement that made it effective.
Why is he laying like that? Why is it Prime?
The art style of this PSA is one of the most lovely things to look at. It perfectly juxtaposes the dark comedic tone by using a soft color palette and sleek use of perspective. Each scene in the 3-minute runtime of this video is pleasant to look at, from someone frying themselves with a toaster to someone's head exploding in outer space. Okay, the barf scene was also pretty gross, but don't worry about it. If you
Ew.
look closely, the backgrounds have just a little bit of grain and a slight gradient to help them look both natural and ease the transition on the eyes. It gives just enough imperfection to not make the art style seem overly
Yeah.
clean and corporate,
Yeah.
but avoids being sloppy or gritty at the same time.
Gritty.
The way the dancing sequences are choreographed provides a wonderful repetitive motion that is almost lulling with the shading and is so simple that it feels like Saturday morning cartoons. Even the more gruesome deaths shown in this video, they are so satisfying to look at. Someone literally got eaten in half, and I can't stop looking at the beautiful trace lines spewing out of them. It's like a beautiful disaster that, rather than holding your attention with pure spectacle, it holds your attention with aesthetic. Furthermore, look closely at how these scenes are paced, and it is no wonder how it keeps your attention so well. You are shown 20 character deaths throughout, with each subsequent one feeling unique, silly, and wholeheartedly entertaining compared to the last. For example, let's look at the opening sequence. It shows the wind blowing dandelions under the sun, tilts the camera downwards to see someone frantically running into flame with their hair ablaze, then uses the flames to transition lightly into a still shot of someone poking a stick at a grizzly bear. Just with these two sequences back to back,
fucking
we are
music in the
given two completely
background.
different pacing methodologies. One where movement
Oh,
is the main
he's
focus,
serious.
and the other, the exact opposite. One is silly in expressivity, the other is silly in its lack of said expressivity. These scenes conclude in the first 10 seconds of the video, showing how brisk the pacing is by not overstaying their welcome, but still being carefully crafted to not seem too frantic either, even though there's literally someone running with their hair on fire. The movements aren't flashy, the transitions between scenes aren't audacious, and thus the emotion we feel as the audience matches perfectly. We don't feel flustered watching this silly video, we sing along and sway back and forth to its lulling storytelling. Which leads us right into what ties all of this together, the music.
What? There's so many covers. There's a fucking rock cover.
With lyrics written by John Mescal, production and backup vocals by Ollie McGill, and lead vocals sang by Emily Lubitz, the 3-minute piece is the backbone of why everything in this advertisement works, and is the exact reason why you are watching a video about this 12 years after its original inception. If it weren't for the song being so incredibly catchy and easy to listen to, we all surely would have died to trains by now. Okay,
Yeah.
but we don't actually have a way of knowing if this advertisement actually helped reduce train deaths, because people like fulfilling this online pledge or whatever, that's hard to track. So like, someone please go compile the global data on train deaths and let me know if the campaign actually worked. But let's go deeper.
Okay.
Why is this so pleasant to listen to?
Yeah.
Well, just listen to the instrumentation. We have a simple acoustic guitar chord progression, a main melody vocalist singing in a very comfortable mid-range, a drum set providing a quiet sense of rhythm in the background, and then lightly sprinkled ornamentations throughout the piece to help deter musical oversimplification. Listen closely and you'll hear a piano, electric keyboard, soft background vocals on the chorus, clapping, and even brass instruments. But what's more is that these instruments aren't just thrown in at random. They specifically are used to create a gradual crescendo, not just in volume, but in timbre and texture throughout the entire piece. After each chorus, a new instrument is added until we have an absolute party at the very end of the song. It almost changes genres, going from a simple acoustic guitar solo to a jazz improvisation session at the end. Once again, it keeps your attention the entire time and doesn't let up in its hilarious juxtaposition to the source material. The music literally turns people dying in stupid ways into an absolute banger that has happily occupied our heads for years on end. This isn't easy to do, composing a piece of music to be catchy but subsequently relaxing to listen to. This emphasis on texture and musicianship is the
glaze is
exact reason
crazy.
why it is much harder to get annoyed by this song as compared to others of its time, such as
The glaze is
the
crazy.
fucking Gummy Bear song.
Oh,
You
what's
see,
wrong with the Gummy Bear
without
song?
ornamentation, expression, and natural pacing, pieces of music feel mundane and get old very quickly. But when you add some flair into the mix, you can happily listen to people dying in stupid ways all day long.
Mrs.
Typically
Failure is
with
crazy.
nostalgia, I've
Doodle
found myself
jump.
feeling more let
Minecraft.
down when revisiting pieces of my childhood. There's something
Mario
so
Kart.
deceiving about it, where I will see an Instagram post reminding me, oh,
Oh,
yeah, that
I
was a
had
thing.
one of those because my mom didn't want to give me a real. My mom didn't want to give me a real hamster, so she got me one of these instead. But it was nice. It was cute.
I go and watch whatever said thing was, and then
I
just
wanted this thing so bad. I wanted this little like tray. It's like thing so bad. I had the ball. There was a ball, like a hamster ball you could get, but I wanted this one so
feel
bad.
hollow. For most, the general consensus is that nostalgia offers
Silly bands. Oh
rose-tinted
my
glasses
goodness.
that, once taken off, reveal nothing more than a product that really wasn't that special.
Yeah.
We all can name games, movies, songs, people, and more that have left us feeling hollow. But on the rare occasion, that deceiving nostalgia leads us back to a moment in our lives that was genuinely amazing, not just a shallow trend or interest. I fully expected to get Dumb Ways to Die stuck in my head when creating this video, but I did not expect to thoroughly enjoy every moment of revisiting it. Through its use of tone, art style, and music, Dumb Ways to Die brings me back to a time when life was simple, in so many ways that I can't really put into words. It brings me back to a time where my phone was just a magical box that could play any YouTube video I wanted, where homework was basic fractions, and my only concern was if the sun would actually not wait a couple billion years to explode. Now my phone is a
Yeah.
detriment. My homework is memorizing brain chemistry, and my only concern is that I have way too many concerns, not so much the world exploding tomorrow. Life passed quick, and I still got a long ways to go. But if I got the chance to have a conversation with myself 12 years ago, where I could show them what I'm actually worried about these days and what being an adult actually kind of looks like, I have a feeling I'd know exactly what little me would say. What a dumb way to die.
Okay. All right. Woo! What a pretty video. This video is 300 million views.
Set fire to your hair, poke a stick at a grizzly bear, eat medicine that's out of date, use your private parts as piranha bait. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die, so
That's crazy. Fortnite collab made me remember. There is a Fortnite collab! I knew it! I knew it! There is one.